So I'm going to be attempting to back up my colleague here in the fact that indeed raising the driving age to 18 will make a difference. His first point was that skills are learned. This is true. However, you can't learn something if your brain is not fully developed. And in order for a brain to be fully developed, you have to be at least 18, if not older. 18 is the best age because at 18, the emotional core of the brain has fully developed and the extracerebral cortex is also developed, which allows you to make fast decisions in a split second. According to sage Dr. Lawrence Steinberg, a professor at the University of Philadelphia, he says teens have a sense of invulnerability. This causes them to make rash decisions. This lack of ability to understand that something can go wrong, it will happen to me, seems to disappear at the age of 18. And nobody understands why, according to this professor. His second point was that again that he focused on the fact that the brain is not developed until the age of 20. Again, I cite another professor who says teens' brains are not developed, teens are more impulsive and have poor judgment. This could perhaps be another reason why teens make rash decisions. They don't buckle their safety belts, which leads me to another point. Of 10,000 respondents aged 16 to 19, all of them, 40% said that if they were in an accident and nobody was injured, they would not report it. This goes to prove the claim that we have made that they are not able to judge their actions. Our second point was that teens are more distracted. He didn't really address this point very much, which is interesting, because I think there's a lot of evidence that goes against this. So I'm not going to address it either. His third point. His third point he addressed was the fact that accidents will increase at the age of 18 as the driving age is moved to 18. He cited statistics stating that at the age of 18, drivers have more accidents. He then said that because drivers are going off to college, they are more susceptible to things like alcohol. That brings another point. Because drivers are going off to college, they're driving to college. This therefore increases the amount of driving that the students are doing. If you're driving from college, which is 200 miles, and then drive home 200 miles, and you do that once or twice a month, you're driving 200 more miles than you did before. That therefore increases the amount of driving that you're doing, which increases the amount of accidents one can have. Statistics state that if a 20-year-old did as much driving as an 18-year-old, they would be 3 times more likely to be in an accident. And if a 16-year-old did as much driving as an 18-year-old, they would be 8 times more likely to be in an accident because their brain is underdeveloped. He also cited that teens are more susceptible to drugs and alcohol whilst at college. Where this is true, teens are less likely than adults to drink and drive because of the penalties. Of those surveyed, only 15% were under the level of 0.8 alcohol whilst driving in an accident, versus 28% of adults who were under the influence of alcohol. Studies show that 31% of teens had been drinking whilst involved in an accident. However, only 0.5% of the drivers in those situations have been drinking, which goes to prove that teens are in fact smarter at the age of 18. His final point addressed parts of Europe where the driving age is actually 18. This hits home for me because I'm from Europe, and I hate the driving age being 18, but is the best way and the most functional way to keep our teens safe. And we have understood this. For example, in the United Kingdom, the Daily Telegraph published an article stating that the United Kingdom should raise its driving age from 17 to 18 because it has the highest rate of death in the European Union. Europa Traffic Commission also cited this. In 2001, there were 50,000 deaths in the EU, and they stated that all countries that have a driving age of 17 should upgrade it to 18. In contrast, in that same year, in the US, there were 70,000 driving deaths. Finally, he made a joke about how in Germany and Europe, the drinking age is 18. It has been this way since before America existed, so why should we change it now? Therefore, I dismiss this claim as satirical and inconsequential. Finally, I want to emphasize the fact that teens are more willing to take risky behavior at the age of 18, at the age of 17 and 16, sorry. Our first point, again, is that teens' brains are not developed. Our second point is that they are distracted. And our final point is that they will increase all their skills as they learn through other activities other than driving, and therefore become a better driver and be safer.